All right, let's go to Sunday's big game. Spurs, Newcastle. We talk about two teams coming off great wins. These teams are coming off bad losses. They're both sitting outside the top four right now. Newcastle 1 point adrift of Spurs. Stevie, I'll start with you. What is your concern level with Spurs in this losing run they've been on, and where are you at with Newcastle?
Listen, I think Spurs were always going to struggle with the amount of injuries and with the changes they've had to make, and the fact that they've lost their best players. You got Van de Ven at the back, who up until he got injured was probably the best centre back in the Premier League this season so far. You got James Maddison, who again before he got injured was arguably one of the best midfielders in the Premier League this season, and you don't have those guys along with the other injuries. You don't have Bettencourt in the middle. You're going to have to play Højbjerg again. So Spurs were always going to have a period where they struggle, particularly the way they play as well, because they want to go forward, and that leaves holes. Having said all that, Newcastle are they're just tired. I mean, they've just run out of juice. Yeah. They have nobody to bring on the field to give anybody a rest. Lascelles went off at the end of the Everton game the other day as well with looked like a knock. I mean, this team is running on empty. It's got plenty of heart and spirit, but they've had a ton of games recently, talking about Europe as well as the Premier League, without being able to make changes. Spurs, on the other hand, yes, they've had bad results, but the players are rested. And you can't imagine, with the amount of possession that I think Spurs are going to get in this game, that they're not going to take advantage of it eventually. Plus, they're at home, another away game for Newcastle. I just don't see Newcastle having the energy to outdo Spurs here. Spurs are desperate to get a victory, particularly at home. I can't see anything other than a Spurs win, to be quite honest with you.
Interesting. LME, where are you at with both? Give me kind of the same assessment of both clubs and where they're at.
Yeah, no, I kind of have to agree with Stevie Nicol here. This is a little bit, Dalen, like imagine two out-and-out, gung-ho, knockout-style boxers who are in the 11th round right now, and they're just like beat, absolutely beat. And the injury list is alarming for both sides. I mean, you're talking about, I think, 12 injuries for Newcastle United across the squad. And then I was also looking at some research regarding how much Eddie Howe uses his substitutes, and it's been about 25 to 30 minutes across the board. That's just not, you have to rely, if you want to be successful in this Premier League, you have to use your squad, not just your 11. And I think that's an issue for Newcastle. And like Stevie said, they're just so tired. Everton, at points were playing like prime Brazil in the 70s against them. And that's a bit alarming for them. So again, it's this sophomore slump when you make it into the Champions League and suddenly you have to worry about playing the likes of PSG and other big teams in Europe. And then on the back of that, you have to play 8 matches in December. So that's an issue. For Tottenham, well, they're the first team who have led 5 matches in the Premier League and lost all of them. And it's because partly of Postecoglou's philosophy, right? Which is just like, we're going to go at you, mate. No matter what, we're going to just go. And I'm going to stick to it until I die. And I love that about Postecoglou. I'm a big fan of his. But in the Premier League, that's a marathon, not a sprint. That's a problem. Now, Heung-min Son went out injured against West Ham. He might be ready for this game, but in terms of how good he'll look, we'll have to see about that. James Maddison still, suffering. Cuti Romero did come back, of course, but they still don't have those pieces. So I'm with Stevie. It's like, it's very tough to figure out just because of how tired they are. But at home, they need that win desperately. I think it's going to be a Tottenham win, even though the last time they played, it was a St. James's Park. It was a 6-1 victory to Newcastle, but that's not going to happen today. I think Tottenham's going to win this one.
Okay, they have 3 of those 5 losses are at home right now, but I got the desperation. I obviously hear both of you. Stevie, you said Spurs win. Give me a score. What do you think?
I'm going to go 3-1.
3-1? LME?
Yeah, the 3-0 loss to Everton alarmed me, Dalen. I think it's going to be 2-0 to Tottenham, but I think they're going to have a lot of shots against Newcastle. They're very tired. And also, no Nick Pope. We haven't even talked about that part. Like, that's a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one, that not have your keeper. And then obviously they are playing Milan with everything to play for in midweek. So as you said, it's coming thick and fast.